the only thing I knew how to say was Hola. That's it. And I was actually not sure if it was Italian or Spanish. If you don't use the language, you lose it. I have to become a part of this culture. I had to work on my accent a lot. So I was like, okay, Veronika, for now, you're a beginner. Forget about Spain, like focus on Mexico. Like, how do people talk here? Because you also live here. Because sometimes what people do is they open the app, they're like, done. But like, oh, are you done? Are you sure?
Hello everyone, I'm here with
Veronika from Veronika's Language Diaries.
First, who are you?
I'm a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel called Veronika's Language Diaries where I talk about language learning. And actually, I have 2 YouTube channels. So if you're interested in like content that is more about self-improvement, self-development in a gentle way, my second channel, Veronika Mark, is gonna be great for you. So I'm super excited to be here today.
Me too. What is the best way to learn a language?
The first thing is focusing on the specific accent of the language. So because I know a lot of people are learning Spanish from Spain, and for me, I did not want to learn this kind of pronunciation, like understand all these words specific to Spain. So it was like, okay, Veronika, for now, you're a beginner. Forget about Spain, like focus on Mexico. Like, how do people talk here? Because you also live here. Good, at least like good, all of these sounds. Like I struggle with R a lot, even though we have the same sound in Russian, but it's very interesting because in Russian, we kind of only have this strong R sound, like Veronika. Well, kind of, it's interesting because like I wouldn't say Veronika, I would say Veronika. So I guess it's more like a very soft R sound, but I don't know why I basically struggled a lot with these 2 sounds. They begin learning a language and they say, okay, I love, I don't know, Friends or something like that. So let me watch Friends in Spanish or in English, but then they realize that it's way too difficult and it just becomes boring and tedious and taxing. It's hard, and I can't learn a language this way. For me, it's very important to be able to understand most of the information. So if you think that what you are using right now is your current level plus 10, probably not, just wait a little bit. You are gonna get to that level when you understand this kind of input, but maybe not yet. And also using Anki. So the spaced repetition technology, it helped me through college. Like with Chinese, it helped me with English. Like I've been using Anki for so long and I'm such an Anki nerd. So like I customized everything there, used a lot of plugins, I tried so many things, and like Anki really helps me put passive vocabulary into my active vocabulary.
So accents, comprehensible inputs, and Anki, or spaced repetition flashcards.
Exactly.
Is there anything else? Like let's say you have 8 hours in the day to just study Spanish, for example. How are you going to break up your study routine?
Well, 8 hours a day, it's a lot. Like, unfortunately, right now, I don't have this luxury anymore. When I was in college, I did. And I wasted this time so badly. Now, I would love to have all this time back. Because right now, I have a job, so I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this right now, you also struggle with time management. I recently realized that I struggle with time management in terms of my energy. So originally I was focusing on more how to manage my time in terms of productivity. Am I staying productive? What am I doing? Like my schedule, my calendar, let's just like boom, 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 everything I'm doing. Now, what I'm doing is I'm changing my schedule based on my energy levels. So I know that, for example, in the morning, I wake up and normally I have a lot of energy in the morning if I had a good night's sleep. So this block of my time in the morning is going to be dedicated to activities that require a lot of my energy. And then what is really important is that in between these blocks of like high energy time, I add blocks of something that is gonna give me this energy back. And usually it does not include scrolling on social media, laying on the couch and stuff like that. No, for me, it's going to the gym or stretching, doing yoga, Pilates, some kind of sport, or listening to like a video of the course that I recently purchased, like learning something new that is not connected to my job. My energy just tanks after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m., I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I just like, all I want to do now is relax, do something like that is going to give me this energy back, basically. So answering your question about 8 hours of my time, what I would do if I were to dedicate all this time to language learning is probably in the morning, I would do something that is quite difficult, requires a lot of my attention and like mental energy. Usually it includes Anki cards, because for me, revising my flashcards, like I need to be sure that when I'm revising them, I'm actively engaged. Because sometimes what people do is they open the app, they're like, done.
Right.
But like, oh, are you done? Are you sure? You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I don't know. Then I'm probably gonna do grammar, like maybe revise a grammar rule I have problems with, because in Spanish still, like there's so many things I don't know. And then I would say to give me all this energy back, I would probably take a class with someone, like talk to them for 30 minutes. And then I would say, I would obviously take a break, eat something, lunch, maybe like go do a workout. Probably also while working out, I could listen to your podcast in Spanish.
Which is amazing. And when you first told me that you listen to my podcast every day, I was like,
literally, the moment.
I was fangirling. I was like, what? I'm like, you listen to my podcast every day? You like sent me a screenshot and I was like, I can't believe it. Like, that is so cool.
Yeah, all the episodes, I listen to every single one of them because I love your conversations with Luis. They're so like genuine and so fun to listen to. And I think what I also like about those conversations is the fact that you are not a native speaker of Spanish.
Right.
And so it's kind of like me in a way that I speak English and English is not my native language and I create content, and like you're being very vulnerable. You know, sometimes you're making mistakes and sometimes you're not sure how to say some word and you always like laugh it off. You're always like, oh, it's okay, Luis, like it's fine, let's just continue and stuff like that.
Right.
And this is something that I really like about your show.
Oh, thank you. No, I was fangirling. I'm like, I can't believe. I texted Luis. I'm like, check this out, dude. You're not gonna believe it.
Yeah, so or something like that. Like always when I'm working out, especially when it's like, I just listen to a podcast or a YouTube video in this language and that's it. It's very easy. Yeah, then I would come back home and probably, I like writing when it's connected to my life. So maybe I could just like write something quick, like a journal entry about like, oh, how did my day go? What did I do? What did I learn and stuff like that? And yeah, that would be like my writing practice.
What is the like one piece of language learning advice you could give to someone?
To make it as simple as possible, I would say just make it fun.
So what you're saying is everyone should listen to my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Sorry guys.
let's say you're interested in cooking. You love cooking Japanese dishes, right? So try to use Japanese as a tool to help you learn more about Japanese food and stuff like that. So like use this language as a tool to do something fun, to have fun in your life. And if you love working out, try, following some creators who talk about that, like in this specific language, or talk about going into the gym or like doing home workouts.
So something that I always see with my students is they're like, oh, Nate, I'm unmotivated. Like this sucks. I feel like giving up. Yeah, just have fun. Like relax. I always tell people just take time, like enjoy the process. Like, why would you like hate learning Spanish when like you live in Mexico, you're around the language all the time? Like just have fun. Like you said, if you love like cooking or nutrition or whatever, like how can you tie Spanish into that? So I love that advice, like, cause ultimately that's what keeps learning sustainable. And that is the most important thing, right? Is the consistency. Instead of being like, I'm gonna dedicate 20 hours a day to learning and and then you give up and you're like, oh man, I stopped learning. So how many languages do you speak? You speak Russian, привет. You speak Spanish, hola. You speak English, hello. You speak Mandarin Chinese,
你好.
你好, right.
Sí.
What else? Are those the languages you speak that are like the heavy hitters, the ones you speak really well?
I started my language learning journey a while ago when I was still a little kid in school. I started learning French. That's actually my very first language, my very first foreign language, because my native language is Russian. So I was born and I was raised in Russia. And then when I went to college, I decided to study Chinese. So my major was the Chinese language. So yeah, but now I have not practiced Chinese in like 3 years, 2-3 years. Like my case is an amazing example of how if you don't use the language, you lose it.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened to me when I moved to Mexico City, because I stopped using Chinese like 100%. I moved to Mexico and I realized that I needed Spanish.
Sure.
So like I didn't know anything in Spanish and I felt extremely uncomfortable and like dumb, to be honest, just this feeling of like not understanding anything. Because there are people here in Mexico City who speak English, but there are also people who don't. If I want to live here and have a good quality life here, I have to learn Spanish. Like, I have to become a part of this culture. The only thing I knew how to say was hola. That's it. And I was actually not sure if it was Italian or Spanish. I was like, is hola Italian or Spanish? Now I've been learning Spanish for the last 2 years, I guess.
Your English is actually insane. Like, it is so good. Like,
Thank you.
Like earlier, I think I texted you. I said like blah blah blah, a shot in the dark, and I was like, that's a really odd slang phrase, and you kind of like laughed at that. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, how does she know that? Like, I don't know those phrases in Spanish. Like,
Yeah,
I'll be like,
me neither.
How would I
In
say
Spanish now, but in English, yes. I was trying to work on my accent, and that's actually when this accent shift happened for me, because originally I spoke English like this with a very strong Russian accent. And so I had to work on my accent a lot, because of course I can still speak English with a Russian accent, and sometimes I do that for fun because it's fun. Because at that point my accent was half Russian, half British, and half like basically American. It was just a mixture of everything. I never like practiced accent training and stuff like that. So I was like, accent training. Like, let me research this topic. And I became obsessed with it. It was like my second obsession. A very big revelation, or like a big discovery, was the fact that they didn't teach me anything like that in school. Like all of the pronunciation rules and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, this is how it works? Like, I still remember my very first rule that I learned, and I was just like, what? I was in awe. Was about the R, that Americans always pronounce the R. It's gonna be like butter and not butter.
Right.
Like that, right? Butter. Yeah.
Great accent, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I always practice with the phrase Harry Potter. I love saying that, yeah.
Guys, click the link in the description to go check out Veronika's channels. Thank you so much again. Seriously, it's been a pleasure. And how do I say goodbye in Russian?
Пока.
Пока.
Very easy. Пока.
If you want to become conversationally fluent in Spanish as fast as possible, check out the Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Here's what some of our current members have to say. Tam, one of my most motivated students, says, I felt like I understood more Spanish in 1 week than the entire month that I had spent trying to figure out everything on my own. This course made it easy for a busy person like myself to learn Spanish efficiently while still having fun. We stand behind our program with a 30-day full refund policy. If you're not happy within 30 days, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. To find out if the Academy is right for you, click the link on the screen or in the description below.